Morning. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Love 500, and welcome back to Project Loopy Harold. At last, you hadn't seen him for a while. You saw him sitting in the background when we were unpacking that bumper the other day. But apart from that, you haven't seen him for a little while. So tomorrow, the cam belt is being done. So as you can see down there, can of petrol. I've just been down the petrol station. Got a full can of petrol. I'm going to stick that in it now. So we've got some nice fresh petrol in, as lots of you have suggested that we do. And then I'm going to get it prepared for Connor to come tomorrow to do the cam belt. So I don't need to drain it down on this one because there's no water in it, no coolant in it at all. There might be a little bit, but nothing much, nothing that's going to make a mess or anything when he takes the water pump out. So going to take the battery tray out, obviously take the battery out, take the battery tray out, undo the bolts on the rocker cover, undo the bolts on the ECU, I think it is, to get the rocker cover off. Take the wheel off, jack it up, take the wheel off, take off that plastic panel that exposes the bottom crank pulley. I think that's about it. I haven't done one of these for a little while, so yeah, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put the petrol in it and then we're going to do that. Okay, so under here we've taken out the cover just there. Obviously you have to do that, you have to take the drop rod, whatever you call it, take that off. You have to release that to get to one of the screws behind there. I think I've shown you this all before anyway. It's up on an axle stand, and then up here we've taken the battery and the battery tray out. Removed the ECU from the rocker cover, and also taken out the I think that's the cam sensor, is it, or is that the cam sensor? I can't remember which one's which. There's a sensor there anyway, which I've unbolted to get out of the way, and then I've taken all the bolts out on the rocker cover. Obviously we've had all this off before, so the only thing I've got to take off is the electrical connection for that. I'll do that in a sec. And then it's all ready for Connor tomorrow. Obviously Connor will take these off. I'm not going to bother taking these off now. I'll let him jack the engine up and take those off like he normally does. So he will be changing the cam belt, the water pump obviously because the water pump's failed, and the accessory belt, and of course, which a lot of people don't, I don't think. I know some people will do these these cam belts without actually taking off the rocker cover or using a locking kit. A lot of people don't. A lot of garages don't. But when you see some receipts sometimes where people have had these done, it never mentions the accessory belt and it never mentions the gasket on here. So we're taking this off, so therefore we're putting a new gasket on. So we don't want a leaking rocker cover. For the sake of about £8 or whatever it is, it should be replaced really. So Connor will be here to do this tomorrow. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to inspect, while this is all off, I'm going to inspect the main earth cable. It looks quite corroded around there. Not necessarily going to change it. I'll see what the cable itself's like. So this is it, as you know, underneath it's got this plastic covering over it. So I'm going to take it off this end, clean it up, and if it looks okay I'm going to put it back. I won't bother changing it. If it's all frayed and corroded, then I'll change it. I've got new ones, so I can always change it, but for the time being I'm just going to clean it up and see what it looks like. So that's it for the time being for this. So we'll be back on this on Loopy Harold tomorrow. When Connor gets here we'll probably put it on time lapse again, film some of what he's doing. So we'll see you then. Oh, that's the seats cleaned. There was some mould developing on the seats and on the carpet down there, which I've cleaned off. There's a few little bits of marking of mould growing on the some of the plastic as well, which I'm not going to get off yet. When I remove the overspray from the seat cleaning, I'll clean it all off then. It's just where the car's been standing for so long, because I can't start the engine and keep the engine running because of the water pump. As it's being done tomorrow, and hopefully we can get the engine going. What I'm going to do later, I'm going to leave the doors open, because at the moment it's blue sky. Even though it's cold, it's probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 degrees, something like that, maybe a bit warmer. It has been a blue sky. It's a bit cloudy up there now, but the sun has been out, so obviously there's no battery in the car. I can't open the windows, but I can leave the doors ajar, at least just to get the flow of air through. So the seats are cleaned, obviously sopping wet. I don't know what that is on there. That feels like chewing gum. So I may have to get something on there, have a Google and see what gets chewing gum off. I know you can freeze it, but I don't think it's gone through to the material. It's got some of it off, but I don't know if nail varnish remover will do it. I might end up destroying the seat, so I need to be careful. I think there's still a few grubby bits on the edges of the seats that I didn't quite get to, but I can do that afterwards. It's not a problem. Some of it's where it's still wet, so that bit's obviously wetter than the rest of it, so it looks darker. So it looks dirty, but it's not. Same goes for this. It's darker there than it is there, but that's because it's wetter there. My machine's good. It does get the seats clean, but despite going over it and over and over it with the vacuum part of it, it does seem to stay quite wet. This seat's not fantastic. We've got a cigarette burn there, which I'm going to have a go at repairing, but the seats also come apart there, so I'm going to have to try, once that's dried, I'm going to try and sew that back together. And there as well. I mean, you can't really see it until you look, and it's a little bit worn there as well. So yeah, oh god, I just realised there as well there's another one. I never saw that one. Oh, I'm going to try and sew that one up. I'm going to sew that one up because it's not so obvious there. So although there's cigarette burns in this car, it doesn't smell of smoke, so it must be a long time. Must be one of the distant owners that have smoked in it, because it's not smelt of smoke in here at all. That's a nuisance. Didn't notice that one. Literally just noticed that. And done that as well. Again, that was really dirty, but now it's nice and clean. So I've done that while it's up on the axle stand, so not the end of the world. But yeah, this is my machine, Karsha Commercial Poozy 100. There are better Poozies. Poozies were recommended to me by somebody, and I managed to get this one on eBay quite cheap. I think it was about £100, £80, something like that. I can't remember now. I've had it a couple of years, I suppose. But yeah, that's the seats done. I'm glad I got those done. So although they're not going to dry today, tomorrow I'll get the heater out here, and then in the afternoon Connor's coming to do the cam belt anyway, so I want to have the seats dry by the time he's done that, so I can get this back out on the road, as it's all insured and MOT'd. Actually, the MOT may have just run out, or it might be February it runs out, I can't remember. So I need to get this MOT'd ASAP. I noticed earlier on, I think I mentioned it, I noticed that the brakes pads, let's see if I can see them. I think it was a video that I was doing for, no, I can't see because the wheels turn around, but I say that they will be an advisory on the MOT. So I'm going to do those. I've got some pads, so I'm going to do them anyway. Obviously the other side, both sides, you obviously do them as a pair. So that will be coming up in a few days' time, I guess. So for the time being, we're finished with this. And then we'll be back again tomorrow for the cam belt. Just thought before I put this away, I've got to empty it, of course. Have a look at the water. Nice and brown. Actually, it's not as dirty as I expected it to be. It's quite brown, but not too bad. Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500, and welcome back to a morning mid-roll. The reason I'm doing that is because it is quite some time since the bit you've just watched was recorded. It's been sitting out on the road for a good couple of weeks because I've been working on Project Bluey and Project Blondie, which is now parked over at my sister-in-law's, waiting for the logbook to come. So yeah, you haven't seen this one for a while. We've got a few things to do. Let's get into it. So as you know, we had all that problem. Oops, sorry, I just banged my microphone. As you know, we had all that problem with the inlet manifold. Now, bodywork wise, it's all done. There's a very, very slight bit of adjustment needed on the front of the bonnet, and we need to polish up this back quarter, which is a little bit on the flat side. It's not too bad, doesn't really notice that much, but it does need a bit of a polish. Apart from that, there's no bodywork at all to do on this car. It's still not running as it should. It's much better. It drives fine. Obviously the cam belt's now been done. It drives fine. Cam belt water pump, which was, as we know, was pouring out. I do need to check the fluid level again, make sure it's, because I didn't bleed it properly when I first did it, because I needed to get it out of the way for Blondie to come down the drive. So I'm going to do that. I bought another set of plugs. So as you know, we changed the plugs before because they were absolutely rotten and rusty and God knows what. God knows how long they've been in there for. And it also, because it's still been rough running since I did that. From changing the plugs to doing the inlet manifold was a while. It was started up a few times and what have you. So I'm going to get them out, have a look at the plugs, and I'm going to change them. I could clean them up, but I'm going to change them. And I'm hoping that might make it run better. Then we're going to put the airbox back on. So engine wise, it should be as it should. And then the other thing we've got to do is the speedo. Got to sort this speedo out. So at the moment it's all sort of off. The cowlings are off and it's just sort of put in there. So I've got to sort out that airbag light that comes on. And then put that all back together and then give it a good clean up inside. Now if that all goes according to plan, this one will be ready to go, apart from an MOT. It needs an MOT. So hopefully this will do it. We'll see. So first thing I'm going to do is get these plugs out again. I'll do it on time lapse because you've seen it all before, more than once, especially on this car. So let's do that now. I thought before I put the airbox back on I should check the air filter. As you see, it's quite dirty, so we'll put a new one of those on. I've got a new one of those, so we'll put that on, and then finally get this airbox back on. So we've got a nice new one, nice sparkly new one. I'm putting this in the wrong way. Did it go in here? I can't remember. Yeah, that's why. It does help if you put it in the right part, doesn't it, really? Oh, for God's sake. It's fallen out again. That's better. Right, that's that. Now I've just got to put the breather hose on. Like that. That's got to be glued, so I'll do that. But I'll do it once it's on the car. So that hose should go in there. Get my hands around the back. There we go. Position that on there. And position that on the throttle body. There we go. Is that in? Can't see. I think that's in. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I can't see a bloody thing around here. Oh, now my torch has run out of power. I've obviously left it on. Ah, the washer's come out. That's why the rubber bung thing. Fiddly little bleeders they are. All right. Gordon Bennett. Right, I need to find some bolts. So I can't seem to find any bolts. I don't know what I've done with them. So I need to locate them if I haven't got them somewhere. They're not in the box of bolts in the boot, so I'll have to find some in my spares. Right, that's all screwed down. That's the old one. I might take that one off actually, because that was the one that obviously wasn't put on very well, because it leaked. When we looked at it, I don't know if I can't remember if I showed it to you. I don't think I showed you any of the cam belt being done, because there was a lot of running around I was doing on the day, so I didn't set my camera up. But the water pump had a gap where the sealant should have been, a really thin bead of sealant. It wasn't very thick at all, so it was that's obviously where it was leaking from. You could see where it had corroded at the top, where it had been leaking, so it was actually leaking out the top of it, not the bottom. But it's all done now anyway, new one on. So got those bolted down. I've undone that, and then I've put some 2-part resin glue on there, and I'll just leave that for the time being while that's going off. Let me just show you the spark plugs that I took out. So I put 4 new plugs in. Now the plugs, the old plugs, I say the old plugs, these are the new plugs that I put in. This is cylinder 1. Quite burnt, isn't it? Don't you think? Sort of cleanish on the top, but burnt there and then burnt in the middle. Cylinder 2 is not too bad. Oh, cylinder 2 is not too bad. Get it in focus. Not too bad. Cylinder 3 is very similar. Clean on the top. And cylinder 4 also about the same. So apart from cylinder 1, which, I mean, it has got that tip is okay, but the rest of it is quite burnt. Now, I don't know whether this is from the rich running or what it is, but we've replaced them with brand new ones, and just hope that that's done the job. I haven't started the engine yet. I'm just going to wait till that glue goes off on the air filter thing, and then I'll start it up. So those plugs, what I've tried attempting to do here, I've put them in a container of solvent and degreaser, and I've just got the tips in it, and I'm just going to leave it like it and see if it cleans all that black gunge off. Brake cleaner might have been better, but I didn't want to waste spraying lots of brake cleaner in, but I'll try this. If this doesn't work, I will try brake cleaner. But it's a shame they're not very old plugs, so if I can get all that burnt off muck on, I can use them again. Okay. Next job, after the cam belt was put on, I forgot to put this back on, which is the panel there that covers up. So I need to get that back in. Right, it took me ages getting the damn thing in. I think I was putting it around the wrong way, which didn't help. God. that's in the right place there. Let's get one screw in. At least get one in. There we go. Go for that. I need to find one of those as well. I'm sure I've got one. And then one last screw in there. It sort of should be lined up now. Can't see. I need to get my head in there. Now we need to get this drop link bar back on. Get that on. And we can get the wheel back on and we're done. Apart from the brakes, of course. I have got to do the brakes on this, which I'm not doing now. I'll do that another day. La 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 la. That's it. Take that out. Turn that off. Then we get the wheel back on, and then we're done. And then we can maybe think about taking it for a spin. Then we'll need a good clean. Oh, I need to pump that up a bit. That's it. That's it. Right, let's let the car down. Right, that's that. Next thing I'm going to do is get the old elbow grease out and clean the engine. So I've got the elbow grease and the brush. So it's quite grubby. It's worse, but it is quite grubby. So I'm going to go over it and give it a good clean. On again. This is a similar problem in similar cars, isn't it? Let's shut the door for a minute. So I can't see it in this light, but as we know, this is the new replacement speedo. It's got a flashing mileage because it's the new speedo, so it's got the incorrect mileage on it. In this light you can't see it, but the steering wheel, you can just about see it. Yeah, steering wheel, you won't be able to see it through the camera there, it's quite faint. Steering wheel icon is lit and it will go out in a second. He says, yeah, it's gone out now. So that needs a bit of jiggery pokery to get that to not be an issue. So I'm going to take it out. However, while I've got this one out, I need to do a bit of other investigation as well. I found this indoors. It's got 20,994 miles on it. I think this had dodgy bits on it as well. And I believe, if I remember rightly, I sold this on eBay. That's why the mileage was on there. Can't remember which car it came out of. Possibly the Twin Air, I'm not sure. but I've got a feeling that this one has got one of these dodgy lights that comes on, which is why it was sent back, and I just put it in a drawer. So I'm going to have a look and see what we've got. I'm going to take this one out and then put this one in and see what we've got. Right, we've got this one in now. So if I remember rightly, it was the engine light that flashed it, so I've got to have the engine running. I actually haven't started this engine yet since I changed those spark plugs, so be interested to see if it runs okay. Let's try it. Seems alright. It's 11 degrees today now, it's quite warm. So right, if I put the right, yeah, I can just about see, I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't. The engine light is very, very dimly flashing. I think that's all. Don't think there's anything else. As far as I can see. I'm not going to leave this one in here anyway, but because I've got the other one, but I just wanted to try it as soon as I found it and figure out what was wrong with it. So we know what's wrong with it. I'm going to see if I can fix it as well and use this in a later car. Right, engine's all clean. Not sure if I showed you that already. It's rained on it a little bit, so, but it is all clean. I've got that screw back in. That hasn't quite dried, so I've got a bit of string around it. I didn't have any cable ties long enough, so I've just done that for now. Oh, I know what I need to do. There's a tag. Whoever had this car before me, when they bought a new radiator, or rather a second-hand radiator, didn't even cut the tag off. I must do that. So it's nice and clean under there. So we're in Loopy Herald, in case you hadn't realised. Speedo's in, all working now properly. It's reading 49,000 miles, but of course we know that's wrong. New plugs are in, and the car is running at 800 revs idling perfectly. No issues at all. I'm doing that because I'm praying. So I'm going to take it for a little spin. What's that? Microphone come off again. Right, let's go. I've checked the coolant level. That is fine. Coolant level is spot on. Clean the engine. Foot on that panel. You saw me do that with a spare with the covering that crank at the bottom. So the only issue I can think of at the moment is I've got a bit of a creaking coming from the back. Come on mate, get out of the way. So I'm thinking, I don't know if it might be something in the boot, but I'm thinking it's either, you probably can't hear it on here. This isn't the best microphone in the world. So I'm thinking it's either a shock or a spring. So what I will do is I will take it for an MOT and let them decide which one it is. Saves me doing it. I know it'll fail the MOT, or it might come up as an advisory, possibly. It's a funny noise. It's actually more of a rattle, and it's not when I'm going over a bump, it's all the time. I don't know if you probably, I'm sure you can't hear it. But it drives absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Yeah, there is a bit of a boom 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 when I go over bumps as well. Now I have got some shock absorbers, however I don't see the point. sun's bright. I don't see the point of changing shock absorbers if they're not gone, just to try them. It's a funny noise. I don't know what it is. It's more of a sort of a tinkly rattle, if that makes sense. Almost like there's something undone. I think I need to get underneath and have a look. This one's not booked in for an MOT yet, because I've still got bits and pieces to do. I've got, well, mainly it's only cleaning. Oh, stop worked. Blimey. Turn that off for a start. Yeah, it's absolute. That runs absolutely perfectly. Absolutely perfect. When you think of the grief I had with that inlet manifold, is my microphone still on? Yeah. When you think of the grief I had with that manifold, and now it is running spot on. Brakes need doing. I've got to do those before the MOT. They're working, or they're working perfect. But I looked at the pads and the pads are very low. Actually, that is still running very, very slightly rough there. Very, very slightly. On tick over. Very, very slightly. Difference driving this to the Arbath. Put your foot down in this and not much happens. Do it in the Arbath and you almost take off. But yeah, so I've got to get to the bottom of what that noise is. I shall have a crawl underneath when I'm not going to do it now because I'm parking the car up on the road now. So on the next video we will climb underneath, have a look, do the brakes, clean it up inside, just get it ready for an MOT. Yeah, it's like I'm sure you can't hear it, but it's like a little tinkly noise. Little tinkly rattling. But yeah, I'm pleased. I'm going to look at the springs and I'll look at the shocks. Too close to the curb. Try and get quite close because I don't want. It's a relatively narrow road, this. I don't want someone coming and knocking my mirror off. Bit more. Try not to dent the X that's parked behind. Right, that's it. So I'm just letting it idle. It's idling at 800. Fine. There's just the occasional little bit of occasional little bit of, but that's it. Oh, there you go. Wonder why. Very, very slightly. Problem with it like that is it might be difficult to sell it like that, and I don't know what else to do to it. New plugs, new air filter, oil's got to be changed still. I haven't done that, but that ain't going to be the cause of it, so I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go back to the other camera now, so we'll see in a minute. So that's the end of this video. As you see, drives fine. Still got that just a little tiny on the tick over, but as someone suggested, I'm gonna stick half a tank full of high octane fuel in it, and stick a bottle of Red X in it. I've got some other gunge as well that might clean, injector cleaner, that sort of thing. I might whack bottle of that in there as well, or I'll have a look, see what I've got. I think I've got some Red X as well, but I'll whack a few things in it and I'll take it for a good old blast. I'll probably get it MOT'd before that. It's got to be MOT'd anyway, and then we'll go from there. But there's a few bits are still left to do on it. I've got to change the brake pads, give it this final clean up really, polish up a bit on the side. There's not much, just bits and pieces. But anyway, we'll do that on the next video. So for the time being, thanks for watching again. If you are a casual viewer, please hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. It does help, and I do appreciate it. And please, if you've got any comments to make, I like to read your comments. I read every single comment that's made. I'll always reply to them if they need a reply. If not, I'll just give them a tick and a love symbol to show that I've seen them. So we will see you on the next video. So stay well, stay safe, and if you can, stay at home. Laters.